Hey everybody, Kristine Cataldo, the Lioness here with my daily roar. Rawr! Coming at you in this beautiful, beautiful day, beautiful place, one of my favorite places to hike and hang out and record my videos. So today I wanted to chat with you. A few days ago I posted a picture of my first and second cleansing and purging of stuff in my house. And I kind of shared a story just about how stuff has always in my life consumed me. It was a part in my marriage that it was an abundance of stuff that ended up in my office. You know, I was the art docent for my children's school for 7 years. So I had all this stuff. I was the president of the Parents Club. I ran the Cub Scout League. So I was the event coordinator for that. I was a co-leader in Girl Scouts. I volunteered for everything and anything and had so much stuff and wanted to give stuff to people that didn't have stuff. And I realized that it just is like an elephant sitting on my chest. So it's something that I've always wanted because, you know, I go into my office and I'm like, oh, there's stuff. There's sentimental stuff. I'm super much of an empath and intuitive and sentimental at every level. But I walk in there, I'm like, there's stuff. And how can my mind stop focusing on the stuff so I can create, so I can write, so I can do my videos, so I can share, so I can sit in there and just read and have peace and freedom. So one of my friends, I've heard a lot about Marie Kondo. So one of my friends is like, you got to watch her stuff and just know that you're going to want to purge your whole house. And so sure enough, I watched one of her first videos and I was like, yeah, this is really driving some points home. I talk about joy all the time in my videos and a lot in my writing. I love the word joy. I love just the feeling of joy. It's happy is here. Joy is here. It's this deep-seated, deep feeling in your gut, in your soul, and in your spirit, in your heart. Whereas happy is up here and joy is deep. And so I feel now that I'm going through this process of cleaning and purging and getting my life organized, I'm feeling more joy just flood my heart and my spirit. So what I did is I started, Marie Kondo has this concept of starting with clothes. Usually she has everybody take all of their clothes and put them on the bed, or a big pile. So that, and the premise behind that is that you realize how much shit you've got. And me, I'm not a clothes person. I like clothes a little bit, kind of whatever. I don't want to run around naked, or maybe I do. I don't know. No, just kidding. But I didn't need to drag everything out. So I just went through my closet and pulled things out. But this time I had stuff in there that was collecting dust that I'm like, really? I have zebra pants from my bachelorette party in 2000. Okay, they might make a good costume for my daughter, but I asked my daughter and she's like, no, I don't want those so much. I had a George W. Bush hat from inauguration in 2000. No, I don't need that so much anymore. What do I have that for? Would never wear that. What? I don't know. I had just other stuff that I'm like, I held it, and Marie Kondo says, just see if it brings you joy. And so I held the stuff as I purged it out of my closet. And as I held it, I just considered, does this bring me joy? And a lot of things were really quick. No, I don't even like it, or it fits funny, or it makes me look not the best. But then there were some things and I'm like, there's so much emotion attached to these things. And I'm like, oh, there's some deep stuff there that hasn't come up, that I haven't worked through. And I really need to get rid of these things. So some of them were those. And I'm like, I just had to kind of pull them out of my fingers, no, I don't need this. I really, really, really don't need it. It's not bringing me joy. It's cluttering my closet and it's not creating space for me to also do the other thing that I want, is to call in the one, that special one, that soulmate. I'm purging all the negative energy, all the negative mojo, the just cluttered and disorganization, so that I can create space for this amazing relationship that I am calling in. So those things, I'm like, okay. But Marie also has this thing where you can say a mini little prayer. You can give thanks. You give thanks to that object, or maybe you give thanks to God for giving you this thing and for it serving you. So you say thank you very much and you put it in the pile. And you do this over and over. So my closet is sparkly clean, shiny. I can probably do one more purge, but I wanted to keep some clothes that I didn't want to get rid of quite yet. And anyway, so that process has taken place. There's some other things. I had this huge, amazing picture, this beautiful frame that no longer serves me, let's just say. And I realized how much emotion was attached to it. And it's been moved from closet to closet to closet to back to forth to whatever. And I'm like, oh, physically it's cluttering my life, and emotionally it's something I need to release. I would never hang it. I don't know that my children would ever hang it. So I needed to have some sort of ceremony to just get rid of it. And the frame's beautiful, but I'm going to sell the frame, get rid of the frame. So I took it and did a little ceremony and burned the photo and said a prayer and released the ties associated with this photo. And it was super emotional, friends. It was, I'm not gonna lie, it was super emotional, just not because I wanted that time back in my life, but it was just like, wow, you know, I allowed this thing to be just moved for several years, and now it's being moved in my house, and like, why am I so tied to this thing? Like, I want to enjoy life. I want to experience life at a level that I haven't before. I want to create that space. I want to go slow in my life. And so, yeah, there was just a lot of emotion around that. So I realized that. I was reading some scriptures, and I wrote them down because I wanted to talk about them and how we're so tied to materialistic things or items that we have or had. And one of them is, what good is it for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? And that's Mark 8:36. And it's so true. Like, when our soul and our heart and our spirit is so consumed, and we have anxiety, which I had because of the disorganization and the abundance of stuff in my life, like, I was forfeiting my soul in a way, because of stuff. It was weird. Another scripture was, then he said to them, watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in abundance of possessions. And that's Luke 12:15. You know, God gave us life. He didn't give us stuff. And so we came into this world without stuff, and we're going to leave it without stuff. We can't take it with us. So why are we weighing ourselves down, my friends? Let's free this stuff. Let's get the freedom back when we release the stress and we release the space, and we have white space in our day, white space in our life. And then we have this abundance of joy with those things that are left. Like, everything in my house, I want it to bring me joy. Let's release the ties. Let's cut those ties and free the connection, and just create that space. So cut those ties that are mostly attached to the things that we need to release out of our house. My good friend, Melissa, I have a joke that I had this analogy with her. I said, you know what we need to do? You know, we sometimes have stuff, or we have things, or we have people in our life that we allow to come back in that are not right for us. Maybe we're dating and we keep allowing these wrong people come back in over and over and over. And I used an analogy once that we need to clear the runway. You know, you don't go to an airport and see a bunch of planes sitting on the runway, or a bunch of people sitting on the runway, or a bunch of garbage sitting on the runway, because there would be planes circling over, and maybe it's that right plane that needs to land, and it couldn't land because there's stuff there. There's no space for it to land. And there's also, it could just circle and circle and circle because it can't land, and then it's going to crash. It's going to run out of gas. It's going to run out of fuel. It's going to run out of energy, and it's going to crash land. So then we have this big missed opportunity, crashed more of a mess. So we're not only contaminating our life, but we're not allowing others that may be right for us to come into our space. So it is very much, so think of that analogy of clearing the runway so the right plane can land. So an amazing plane can land and drop off people and pick up people. So might be dropping off that soulmate for us, or that right person that's supposed to be coming into our life for one reason or another. It also allows for healing. When we get rid of stuff and, you know, some of that emotion comes up like it did for me this weekend, it allowed a healing to start. So I had to like sit with that. I had to sit with this, like, why am I feeling like that? I don't want to be back in that time, in that relationship, in that moment. I don't want any of that. So why am I feeling like this? So it's allowing me to heal that. And it's just allowing that self-love and that self-care, like really going, okay, Kristine, you need to heal yourself. You need to love yourself. That right person is going to come in when all of this stuff is taken care of, or, you know, I'm well in my path and well in my way and organized and have that free space, that white space, that uncluttered mess out of the way, or that cluttered mess out of the way. So I will be able to call in the one. So you may not be looking for a soulmate. You may have your soulmate, but maybe you're looking for some just space in your heart and your soul to do the things you want to. Maybe write your book, maybe work on an art project, maybe have more time for your family, your significant other, your children. Maybe you want to go on a mission trip, maybe you want to volunteer, you know, maybe all of those things that we want to do. Maybe it's, you know, getting out and hiking on a daily basis, but you're so stuck in clutter in your house and in this spin of nothing's put away, nothing's organized, so you can't do the things you need to do there, so you can't get out here and hike. I can go on and on. It doesn't have to be calling in a soulmate. Maybe it's just calling in that peace, calling in that joy that you want in your life. So together, let's get rid of the stuff. Let's stop being so materialistic. Let's value our soul and our spirit and our heart over stuff. And join My Pride Sisterhood if you're not watching this from there. Because on Monday I'm going to start a challenge. So let's get together and let's go through a process. So I'll have exercises every day for, I don't know, let's do it for a week, 7 days. And let's encourage each other and let's get rid of the stuff. Okay, that's it from me today. I love you all. Oodles to noodles. Mwah! And share this forward to someone that may just gain some value out of the video, and invite some other women into My Pride Sisterhood. Share the link. It's www.mypridesisterhood.com, and I will see you there. Peace out, my sisters.